Hello, church family. This is the video update for Wednesday, July the 29th. I want to talk a little bit about last week's video. After I had edited it and uploaded it, Governor DeWine issued a mask order for the state of Ohio. If you were in church on Sunday, you noticed that we weren't standing at the door requiring masks of everyone. And so I want to talk about that a little bit. It was not intended to be civil disobedience to the order. It was an attempt to be sensitive to where we have been as a church family. We have all along tried to provide safety for our church family, and in fact, there are still options for those of you who want to stay home. We're going to continue doing the live stream service, and we want to encourage you to do that. If you are making a decision to come back and worship in person, clearly there are certain things that we can do and some that we can't do in order to provide safety, because if we're assembling together, we are assuming that it is more important for us to be assembled than to stay home and completely isolate. So anyone that comes to church, to some extent, accepts a certain amount of risk. And we've tried to prevent that risk from being excessive. So we have a mask required service on Saturday evening, and I'm encouraged by those who are coming to that. And if you come to any one of the 5 options where we are gathering publicly, you'll notice that people are wearing masks and some are not wearing masks. Some have a higher level of comfort than others. We want to do all that we can to provide safety for our church family. And so what I want to encourage you is this. I've been tracking the statistics, even just now, been on our governor's webpage and looked at the current statistics. Right now, from last week, a week ago to yesterday's numbers, the daily case count of people who are testing positive has, in the state of Ohio, gone from 944 last Tuesday to 7 yesterday. That's a pretty significant drop, 944 to 7. The daily hospitalization count from last Tuesday to yesterday went from 63 a week ago to 16 yesterday. And the daily death count went from 13 a week ago to 1 yesterday. Now, those numbers are very encouraging, and so I suspect that the governor's mask order will be lifted soon. But again, I'm not making those decisions from his chair. I'm just trying to do what's best for our church family. And frankly, that's a difficult thing to do because our church family has different views about things. Let me just repeat something that I said probably 2 months ago now. These are not theological issues. These issues have the potential of dividing us and separating us, but they're not biblical theological issues. And we have to demonstrate grace to one another, and we have to let each other have a differing opinion on these issues. So can I encourage you that what we want to do is to communicate to you our commitment to try to keep you safe. So I want to suggest that even if the governor does not lift the mask order this week, that we observe a few things as a church family. And I would suggest that you do the same thing that we as the pastoral team are doing. I'm suggesting that you put on a band on your wrist, and that indicates your comfort level. So as we created this band system, there's green bands, there's yellow bands, and there's red bands. In each one of the cases, you're wearing a band saying, I want to be here. I want to be gathered and assembled and worship in a corporate way. But these bands help communicate to one another how we can love each other by greeting one another. So I'm encouraging our pastoral team to wear the bands. I'm encouraging our pastoral team to carry a mask around. And when you are greeting people, you can tell just the comfort level. So wearing a mask is going to be, carrying one around for certain, is going to indicate I am willing to wear this mask if you want me to. Sometimes I'll take the mask off when I'm greeting people because I have been asked by several in our church family to remove it so that they could understand better. It's difficult, actually, we've all experienced this. It's difficult to hear through a mask, and especially when you may rely a little bit more on reading lips in order to understand the communication. A mask can be a barrier. And so some people have asked me to remove the mask, and I want to be very sensitive to do that, and I've encouraged our pastoral team to do that as well. So we're suggesting that you perhaps do the same thing. Carry a mask around with you and be sensitive to how other people want to relate, and wear a wristband, and that helps us to understand a few things. So I anticipate that as we gather to worship again this Sunday, you'll see a sensitivity and a care among one another that we can just keep each other safe. So I'm encouraging us to think about that as we come together to worship. I've got a couple pictures to show you of some of the progress that's taking place in the kitchen area. And as I mentioned last week, we're still waiting for all of the permits on the bathroom part of the project to be approved and that work to get started. But here's a few pictures. As you can see, progress is being made. We're removing cabinets from the fellowship hall area and repurposing them into the kitchen area. And that work is ongoing. Even as I speak, the workers are back there doing that work right now. Remember, whether you feel safe coming back and assembling at church or whether you're still at home and worshiping via live stream, we love you, we care about you, we want to minister to you and serve you, and we're asking that that you keep in contact with us. Call us or email us or get a hold of us one way or another. Let us know how we can serve you well.